일을 하고 왔다니까요. Blue on a rainy night.
Have you ever seen someone walk into a room, and suddenly the world just stops? When all the noise fades, all the lights seem dim, except for one person. That's what happened in Paris, when Taehyung of BTS stepped out, and the world couldn't look away. Before we begin this story, make sure to subscribe because this isn't just about fashion or fame. It's about presence, emotion, and the quiet power of a man who doesn't need to speak to make history. The silence before the spotlight. Paris was buzzing that evening. The streets near the fashion venue were flooded, cameras flashing, reporters shouting, and fans waiting for a glimpse of their favorite stars. Inside a black car, Taehyung sat quietly. Calm, almost too calm. The world saw confidence, but inside there was something deeper, a heartbeat mixed with reflection. Taehyung, softly to himself. Just another night, huh? Manager. Not just another night, Taehyung. Tonight the world is watching. Taehyung, smiling faintly. Then let's give them something they'll never forget. It wasn't arrogance. It was grace, the kind that comes from years of being misunderstood, shaped by pressure, and still standing beautifully tall. As the car doors opened, a wave of sound broke the night. Screams, camera clicks, gasps. And just like that, Taehyung stepped out. Dressed in timeless elegance, but more powerful than the clothes he wore was the calm in his eyes. When presence speaks louder than words. The crowd fell silent for a moment. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. There's something magnetic about Taehyung. He doesn't perform. He exists in a way that demands your attention. Reporters whispered. Photographers forgot to blink. Even other celebrities turned their heads. Who is that? Someone murmured. Another voice replied. That's Taehyung, BTS's heart. He walked through the golden doors of the venue, every step echoing confidence. Not loud, not showy, but soft, certain, and unforgettable. People often say fame changes you. But in Taehyung's case, it only revealed what was always there. Quiet strength wrapped in gentleness. He greeted others with warmth. His signature half-smile, a slight bow, eyes that spoke kindness. The cameras captured it, but what they couldn't capture was the aura, that invisible field of calm and emotion that made everyone feel seen. The flash of light and the whisper of art. As the show began, designers presented their creations. Flashes of color, music pulsing through the hall. But in the crowd, one man sat still, his gaze thoughtful, his presence grounding. The camera found him, Kim Taehyung, sitting front row in a dark suit, his face lit by soft light. And for a moment, even the models on the runway faded into the background. The internet exploded. Taehyung in Paris. He's stealing the show without even walking the runway. How can someone look like poetry? He didn't speak a word, but every frame became a story. Every blink, every turn of his head, felt like a movie scene. This wasn't about clothes or glamour. It was about essence. The kind of beauty that doesn't ask for attention, but commands it quietly. The man behind the camera flashes. After the event, when the lights dimmed and the guests left, Taehyung stepped outside into the Paris night. Rain had just started to fall, soft, misty drops on cobblestone streets. He didn't rush to the car. He stood there for a second, letting the cool air touch his skin. A few fans in the distance whispered his name, too emotional to shout. Taehyung thinking, they see me like this, perfect, composed. But inside, I'm just trying to breathe. He had come so far, from a boy who once dreamed of art and music in Daegu, to a global icon standing under the Parisian lights. Yet, fame hadn't hardened him. It had deepened him. He looked up at the Eiffel Tower in the distance, glowing golden. Taehyung, softly. Maybe the world isn't looking at me. Maybe it's just reflecting back what's already inside. And that was the secret. The world couldn't look away because Taehyung wasn't trying to be seen. He was simply being real. Whispers of Paris. Later that night, as he walked into a quiet dinner hosted by one of the top designers, people turned again. not because of fame but because of energy. He didn't dominate the room. He completed it. Designer, smiling Mr. Taehyung, I must say, Paris adores you. Taehyung, grinning, Paris is too kind. I'm just enjoying the view. But behind that polite grace, there was depth, a kind of introspection few could see. He wasn't chasing attention. He was absorbing the world, every detail, every color, every emotion. It's what makes him an artist. He doesn't just live moments. He feels them so deeply that the world feels them too. The world reacts. By morning, social media had erupted. Clips of Taehyung arriving, sitting, smiling. Each one had gone viral. On Twitter, Taehyung in Paris is a cinematic masterpiece. He looks like art come alive. He doesn't attend events. He creates them. Even global magazines featured him on their covers within hours. His name trended in over 60 countries. And yet, Taehyung himself stayed quiet. No long captions, no flashy posts. Just a few photos. Black and white. Simple. Elegant. Because when your presence speaks volumes, your words can stay soft. Behind the smile. Later, back in his hotel room, Taehyung scrolled through the flood of messages and articles. Compliments. Love. Endless admiration. But he paused when he saw a fan's comment that read, "He looks happy. I hope he truly is." And that line hit him. He smiled, a real gentle smile. Taehyung thinking, I am. Not because of the lights, but because people see my heart. He knew he had become more than an idol that night. He had become a reflection of authenticity in a world obsessed with perfection. The lesson from Paris. You see, the story isn't really about a celebrity at a fashion show. It's about presence, the kind that doesn't come from being famous, but from being yourself. Taehyung didn't need to do anything extraordinary. He simply showed up, fully, genuinely, wholeheartedly. That's why the world couldn't look away. Because when someone stands in their truth, the world feels it, deeply. What we can learn from Taehyung. So what can we take from this moment? Be calm in chaos. Be kind even when the world is watching. Let your silence carry strength. And never forget, your presence is your power. You don't need to be the loudest, the flashiest, or the most perfect. You just need to be real. That's what Taehyung taught Paris. And that's what he continues to teach the world. One quiet, unforgettable moment at a time. The final reflection. As the Paris lights faded and Taehyung's plane took off the next morning, the city seemed a little quieter. But hearts were still loud with awe. Because some moments don't end when the night does. They linger in photos, in words, in feelings. And as the world looked back one more time, it realized something simple yet powerful. You can't look away from someone who lives with truth in their eyes.